Greetings, I'm Russ Hatfield, and I'm joined by my higher dimensional twin soul Kara, who's a member of Ashtar Command on Hadespace. This month's editorial visits another planet in the third dimension and looks at how its past is quickly becoming our present. It also asks the question, how would a matriarchal society work here? For a full transcript of this latest editorial, please go to our main homepage at hadesbasenews.com. We invite you to subscribe, be kept informed of future postings on our YouTube channel from the members of Ashtar Command. And now, we present Durandadon, a planet with a cautionary tale. Followers of the archives will know one of our four main speakers on the base and ringmistress of our training sessions, Tia, as being the only third-dimensional member of Ashtar Command to work with our group. Part of the only a few of that dimension on a base of higher dimensional beings is a tale all of its own. This editorial, though, is focused on her home planet of Durandadon, which is located in a sector of space so far away from ours that an entirely different command than Ashtar's was responsible for getting her to Hadesbase. We've heard parts of the story of her home planet throughout the years, and wanted to put it all together because their ancient history is our current present. Hundreds of years ago, the planet was patriarchal and militaristic, with similar antagonism towards parts of the planet like we see today here on Earth. Pollution was ravaging the environment, and women didn't have a voice of their own. One significant difference between their planet and ours was that their race was descended from felines, so the roots of their conflicts were based on the color of their hair. The wars that resulted from those conflicts decimated the male population to such an extent that the women of the planet eventually outnumbered the men, and they began wars that were even more destructive to all sides. The futility of such harmful effects to the population and the planet were recognized as being self-defeating. The women of the planet therefore arranged a peace among themselves, but what was left of the males on Durandadon were a mere fraction of their previous total, leading the women to outnumber men 4-1. The industrialization that was harming the environment was transformed into one where the harmful gases were turned to good by no longer discharging them into the air but utilized in a way that made them economical and profitable. As Tia says, we learned how to control the growth of our planet. We learned how to control the land. We learned how to control the seas. We learned how to control chemicals. We learned all sorts of things, and we found that there is a space in between high industrial capacity which pollutes the atmosphere and living in harmony with the land. There is a middle ground. Present-day Durandadon, as related in the archives, is one where the ratio of men has only improved to 3-1 because of the women on the planet having more girls than boys through a quirk of nature. As a result, the males tend to become more placid over the centuries. Ecologically, they've turned the planet around and managed to control their aggressive nature through festivals where the religious factions of various sectors on the planet would battle in protective gear so that very few deaths would occur among the thousands of participants. Afterwards would be a big party, with much drinking and celebrating the controlled release of any pent-up aggression. It's not a perfect utopia, as they suffer famines and forest fires as we do until the balance is eventually restored. Two things they recognized as being fatal to their existence were wars and pollution, both of which they managed to bring under control. How can their history help with our future? The human race is facing yet another critical moment in our development as a species. What if we failed in our ability to coexist and some self-induced chaos reduced the population to a 4-1 ratio of women over men? Would there be a similar cooperation between the female leaders of the planet to do away with both wars and pollution? The variables are too hard to predict, and speculation leads down some dark corridors. Mankind seems to be locked into a profit-first mentality, and it might be up to womankind to see and act for the sake of the survival of the species should enough tipping points be reached to take us over the edge. For one thing, if the women of Durandadon could figure out how to convert industrial pollution into something that could turn a profit, it would seem that the science of today could accomplish that as well. Here's hoping enough sensible people come around to their senses so that we can avoid the same as what Durandadon went through so long ago. In love, light, and wisdom as one, Russ and Kara.